Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today we are doing our August window shopping episode. If you guys don't know what that is or you're new to the channel, basically every month I check out the trends on the central market and tell you whether it's worth buying, selling, enhancing for profit, and or, you know, event driven economy based stuff. So things you might want to collect or start saving in the future. We look at all the notable items, and yeah, hopefully this helps you regardless of what server you're on. Even though we'll be looking at all of this from the NA server, you know, a lot of the events kind of carry over from server to server, so you know, things are up and down in price. So with that said, upcoming weeks we're gonna get Edania, the new endgame demon land zone for endgame players. We're also gonna get sovereign weapon or sovereign offhands for the rest of us, and you know, the thing past fallen god armor, which admittedly most people aren't at that point, but it's a goal to look for. So let's look at the notable items of the sub weapon. Sovereign offhand coming out. It was supposed to come out August 6th, and then they delayed it till August 21st, which is like 10 days from now, at least when I'm recording. And Blackstar prices is one of them that I've been looking at, mostly the offhand because we already have main and awakening. So the past 3 months, what has happened? It has been stable. Then people, or like the Hydro Ball happened, and then they talked about all of that, like the sovereign offhand and how you get it. So people have been panic buying them, and then during the downtime where everyone is just collecting materials and enhancing. And then now it's going down again, and yeah, that's where we're at. So if you are trying to buy one, don't panic. Just put an order on one. Guarantee you in like 24 hours or less, it'll sell. If you're trying to sell one, try to find a class that, you know, has that order on it, so where someone's trying to buy it. So anyway, with that said, just make sure to watch the prices, and you know, they have given out a lot of those coupons over the years. These thingies where you exchange, like, you know, your sub weapon and all the stuff, those weapon exchange coupons. Yeah, if you're just trying to buy one for another class, it doesn't matter. They give them out a lot. There's probably a bunch of rewards down here that you can exchange it in. I don't remember particularly which one, but there are ways to get it. So yeah, the awakening and main hand weapons are, awakening, main hand, I assume they're the same. Let's just take a quick look at it just for the sake of looking at it. Yeah, main hands probably the lowest value of the 3 Blackstar types. It's just because, like, you know, when you get to level 61, you get a free one. Then you get Deck 2 Vala exchange. You get another Blackstar. That should be your awakening. And then, you know, the sub weapon is for the rest of us, like the endgame players. So, yep, that will be changed in about a week and a half. So yeah, we're not going to go over all the armors. We are going to go look at Fallen God, though, because I think the price of that has risen ever since people are trying to panic buy Tets for some reason when Edania comes out. And trust me when I say the armors are not worth buying at full price at Tet. I think on average, assuming you're using a decent stack and you're trying to actually enhance properly, you can probably get all your Tets for cheaper than the market price. So what would I do if I were in your position? I'm like, oh, okay, so I need Tet. What do? I would probably buy it at like Duo or Try, and then slam it to Tet yourself, because spending 120 plus billion silver to try to get Tet on top of the Try, I realistically think most people can do it for cheaper. So what did I do when I got all my Tets? Like 245 stack and up. I think that's a reasonable one. So if you use like a 250, very easy these days, right? So 250, cron slam it until it goes, and it's, you know, on average, I think most people will get it faster. But yeah, if you were self-enhancing all your Blackstar, or not Blackstars, Labresca, Fallen God, Ators, Dawn Gloves, base to pry, I would use probably like a 70 to an 80 stack as a start, and go until it goes to pry. Pry to duo, probably like 110 stacks, or like the 100 stack that they give out like candy these days. Add some Valks to it, and then start slamming it for duo. Once you start getting duo to try, I personally would start at like a 140 stack. You could probably start at 140, go to like 180, and if you make it at 180 or something, start a new stack. And then try to tet 245 and up. If you use 250, that's fine. 3 out of 4 of mine went on 245s, and then the third one, I just got unlucky, and then I hit it on like a 270 because I was tilted. But either way, tet armors are very expensive, and most people cannot save 200 billion. So I think that, you know, realistically, most people can enhance it on averages according to calculations and everything. I believe in about a week or something, or I know they're going to be removing the non-Manos things, so like silver embroidered. These are going to get removed from the game. You'll probably get compensated with silver, kind of like how they always do things. Is like, we're removing this from the game. Here's silver in whatever warehouse or something, and or your storage. So yeah, they're removing these. I think they're keeping trader and farming, but they're removing all of these, and then they're adding the stats like the XP and everything to Manos. So I think that's overall a good thing, because, you know, Manos is what people should be using these days for basically everything. Cooking is kind of an exception, but like if it's all in one, I think it's a good change overall. And yeah, so if you don't have your clothes ready for your Mono stuff, I would probably start looking into investing in that one. Manos enhancing is a lot different than, you know, other gear enhancing. So depending on the price of the thing, whether you're planning on spending like 6 billion, or I think it caps out at 10, 9 or 10. This is what it caps out at for a Tet Manos clothes. Generally they're pretty worth it. So I would buy one, but if you like enhancing, you probably get it cheaper. I've had my ups and downs with enhancing Manos over the years. All right, so when it comes to accessories, there's really only 2 options. You go Deboreka and convert it into Karazad, or you Karazad from the beginning, like from base all the way to deck. A lot of people ask me, what is the better option? What should you do? And the answer really is, do you have fail stacks? If you already have a lot of fail stacks, like for example, like this is my enhancing character, right? I just have more fail stacks and I know what to do with. I have a lot of them. So for me, enhancing it would be a better choice. And I think if you're using proper stacks and assuming average RNG, it's probably a little bit cheaper to enhance it than buy it. But if you don't have a lot of stacks, just buy it. I think that's a safer route. I would recommend more people to buy it just because it's, you know, 0 RNG to convert it. But depends where you're at in the game. Do you have a bunch of fail stacks left over? Do you have a bunch of materials? And do you live for the gamble? That's about it. So everyone else, just buy it, convert. And let me see. Let me look at the prices of all of these. Pendebo is 170. Man, you guys remember when Pendebos were maxed out at 300 bill? Not anymore. They're not. Pendebo necklace is 130. I'm actually really surprised at this one because, like, obviously as time goes on, the price of these items go down. That's just normal. But I didn't expect it to drop from like 300 bills since Karazad came out to now it's like 140. That's kind of insane. I still thought it'd be at least around the 200 mark, but I guess with party bosses being a thing nowadays, like the Black Shrine party bosses giving people like 15 debos a week, that's what happens. So yeah, if you are in the mid tier of gear, the one you should always be going for first is the necklace, simply because it just gives the most AP. And so like if you see this one, as my deck is 44 AP and everything else as deck is literally like almost half of that, but significantly higher in the necklace. So you should be going for necklace AP first, and then followed by belt or rings. It doesn't really matter. And then the earrings are always last. So if you're at the mid stage of the game and you're like, okay, so should I go Debos or Distos? I don't think that going Distos as a temporary upgrade is a bad idea, simply because you can turn these into Essence of Dawn, which is the material needed to enhance your Charizard up to Nov, and like you're going to need that if you go the enhancing route anyway. So I think it's a temporary upgrade, and usually, let me actually just check. I have the thing that I can look at. So this thingy, the tooltip says a Disto at Pen will sell for 720, or like you can melt the Pen Disto for 720 Essence of Dawn, which I guess is 720 or 72 bill minus taxes. So buying the thing is kind of like equalizing, but it really depends on your server on Essence of Dawn. Yeah, it really just depends on your server. Like, do you have a lot of them? If not, if they're like max price, it's kind of the same thing. So yeah, really just depends. I think it's a fine temporary upgrade till Charizard. That's about it. Okay, so let's see. What are some other things worth talking about? After the whole AP change and a lot of grind spot changes, a lot of the Lightstones have been going up and down in price. So things I want to talk about. Strike crystals. If you are in the mid or end game, you should be using like Vicious Shadows. If you're not capped, all out attack is pretty good. Target openings. All of these require at least one strike crystal. So all out attack requires 2 of them, but like I think it's worth investing into strikes if you can and you're at that stage of the game. Let's see what else is notable right now. Shadows is important. Remember, like, dude, this chart is gonna be insane. I actually sold a couple of them at like 2 billion each, and then now they're 400 each. It's kind of crazy how much people spend on having things immediately on day one, but it is what it is. I think strikes will always be good. Crit damage is significantly better than AP in most cases. Back attack is also strong, and then everything else. Special Lightstones, Iridescence are always one that you will use in combination with a lot of things, so these are probably going to be valuable, especially if you do any life skilling. A lot of my combinations for life skills, believe it or not, use Iridescence, and I have a video talking about everything I use, so I'll leave a link in the description. We're not talking about it now, but yeah, life skillers, you do use a lot of Iridescent stones, so I believe these are actually at like an all-time low right now, or more, kind of at the bottom. So definitely worth picking them up if you do life skills and don't have best in slot crystals. Ash Forest, Dekia, Olins, everything. Places where you could get these Dekia artifacts. It's a lot easier to grind now. So if you're trying to get the best in slot artifacts for your PvP, like the DR ones, probably it's a good idea to put an order on them. Most people used all DR, myself included. So yeah, there'll probably be more orders on this one versus Evasion. I think if you have to ask which one you should use, chances are DR is the way to go. Like, Evasion is really good, but you kind of have to be like 770 plus gear score already to make the most out of it. And yeah, there's that. Let's see, what other things are worth noting? So, enhancement materials. Sharps have always been pretty expensive lately, ever since all these events with the 100% gathering drop rate. You know, everyone's trying to make their own Pen Blackstar for Sovereign Offhand. And so these have been super expensive, so gathering is actually worth doing. I also think Origin of Dark Hungers, for a small window past Sovereign Weapons, these are probably going to be relevant, and people are probably going to buy a bunch of these to click their stacks, and definitely worth noting. So especially when Edania comes out, who knows what the grind spots will be like, and will Ulakita still be extremely relevant. So who knows? Might be a good time to stock up on these, but realistically, you don't need that many. From 100 stack to a 300 stack is like 22 billion. I think I did that math right. Could be a little bit more depending on what you do, more or less. But either way, it's not that bad these days. It's like what, less than 30 billion for all of this. Yeah. For all of you who are still going for your cups for your cares and everything, I would start buying these while these are available on the market, because I remember, I believe it was last month or the month before, all of these were actually sold out to the point where they had to do that event again, the cup drop rate event for those materials. So these are definitely worth investing into early on. They're just free stats and always nice to have, especially if you don't have, you know, all of these already. It's probably time to start getting them. Reforge. As we all know, these have been in the game for a while, but you're going to need 5 more when Sovereign Offhand comes out. So I talked about that in another video. Basically, if you want to know what the best ones are to get, basically it's this one. Back attack, crit, AP, Black Spirit Rage, and then the 5th one is a flex spot, whether you use crit rate, all DR, evasion, accuracy. Depends on what you do. 4 are mandatory, 1 is a flex spot. So change that how you will. At some point, I remember in the Heidel Ball, they talked about Alchemy Stones being Cronstoneable. And so what I've noticed people doing is putting an order on like a Sharp or, you know, or a Splendid, and then hoping to get one, and then we all just Cron Slam for Splendid. So I wanted to talk about this on a little bit, simply because it's one of those things where people are like, oh, I'm losing AP for this one. You are, like, right now, if you are overcapped in spots, you are trading AP, maybe a bracket or something, but you're getting more attack and cast speed. That is significantly more value. And even if you're not capped into spots, like, you see how it's like plus 8 AP from the Vel, and then plus 3, like 8 sheet or 3 sheet AP plus 8 effect. This one, that's total of 11, whereas Splendid gets plus 13, so in effect, that would, in theory, give you more. So, but after the whole formula changes, and, you know, after 310 AP, basically it gives you plus 8. So the AP part of it is a little bit less relevant now, but if you get a Splendid, just know it's an endgame item, and, like, if you're using it, let's say you get lucky slamming it for some reason as a mid-tier player, and you're, like, 270 AP or something like that, just know that it's a good item. It's just not for, like, unless you're really high gear score, you will not really notice the effect as much. So basically you have to be beyond overcapped for a lot of things for it to be relevant. You're basically going for the extra attack and cast speed at this point, and you should have enough gear to be able to mitigate the AP loss of everything. So yeah, for people like me, this is good. For everyone else, I would just, you know, it's not a bad idea to just buy one and hold on to it until you think you need it. But yeah, who knows? One thing I'm actually going for, like, I've had this one for a while, my Resplendent Stone. I cannot wait till we can Cron Slam this, because I think this probably has more value than the Destruction one. Like Lifeskillers who are going from Resplendent to Splendid, that's actually, like, pretty big. 16 to 20% drop rate is really noticeable. So yeah, there's that. Something to think about in the future. What I would do is just put an order on any of these yellow ones, and then we wait till you can Cron Stone it, and then good luck. In another video, I talked about all my crystals and everything set up, and I'll leave a link in the description because that was like a 30-minute video, but I go into a lot of detail of what you should use, especially if you're like overcapped in gear, and then if you're grinding specific spots. TLDR, if you're overcapped, you use this. If you're not overcapped, you use this. If you want to know PvP and everything else, there's a video link in the description for you guys. There are a few more things I actually wanted to look at, because you know how people are overcapped gear, and if you're looking at Krogdalo, so as we all know, for most people, the wind one is the best one. But now that if you're overcapped in AP and it's less relevant, what do? I would actually probably choose Earth. Like the Earth one, damage reduction and evasion, just always nice to have to be safer. Even though grind spots are a lot safer nowadays, but you know, if you're overcapped, Earth is the way to go. If you're not overcapped or you're PvPing, wind is probably the way to go. And the C1, I honestly think the C1 kind of needs a buff. Like 100 HP does not equal or is not equivalent to like 5 AP or 3 DR/evasion. So yeah, I think if they multiplied the HP and stamina to be like plus 300, this might be competitive with Earth. But until that happens, you're either getting Earth or Wind these days. I have all three of them just because I have the Krogdalo Sanctuary. I just have all three of them. But I would say, like, if you can only pick one set, it's probably Wind or Earth, depending where you're at. All of you in the ocean all day. Let's see the prices of everything. So we're going to get Blue Battlefield soon, which is the boat equivalent of Red Battlefield. It's kind of like PvP, but in the ocean with your boat. I think that's actually pretty cool. I'm excited for that. So which one should you get? If you are interested in boat PvP, the Valor is most likely going to be the best in slot, just because this one, I believe, has higher cannon damage. It also allows you to do dailies, like, you know, or saileys, as they call it. Valor is probably the best for PvP. Volante is the speedboat. I think that's a fine option as well. Advance if you are PvE bartering only. And then Balance is kind of just like the thing you get after you get all the other three of them and you have a collector's edition, or like you just like collecting boats and you want to get this one. This is the one you get last. But the other three, depends what you do. Valor, boat PvP. Volante if you like speed, going faster. Advance if you are a barter, and then that's about it. So, yep, that's where it's at. Ever since Blue Battlefield, the price of this is probably going to be higher than the rest of them. And yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. All right, so with that said, we have talked about all the notable things for this month. I think the biggest thing will probably be the Blackstars for Sovereign Offhand in the near future. So just make sure to check that out. And my recommendation, try not to pay. I know people are like, oh, there's only one for this one. Just put an order on minimum. Guarantee you'll get it in under 24 hours. It doesn't even matter what class. If you have those weapon exchange coupons, just find the cheapest one, and chances are you'll find something at minimum. Like, just go down the list and be like, okay, what's at minimum right now? And then chances are you'll find it. So I bet you, like, right now, let me just go look at it. Which one has a minimum? Or did the price just change? Where is it? Someone's gonna list it for 75 soon. It's just a matter of time when you see an order. Either way, that's all you have to do. Just search for it, buy the cheapest one, you're good to go. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to drop in the comments. I'll point you in the right direction. Or if you have a more specialized, tailored question, join the Discord if you need gear help and all that stuff. We have a channel for that, and happy to point you guys in the right direction. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.